In this video I'm going to show some knife sparring footage from my recent sparring with Massimiliano Di Meglio. Sorry if I butchered that pronunciation. Now, Massimiliano trains in internal Kung Fu, and when it comes to armed combat, the style focuses on different elements both from Chinese, Japanese and Filipino martial arts. Now, it was clear that his way of doing knife fighting involved much more both hands, not just the one with the knife, but also the other one. In case you're wondering, we used foam knives. Now, it should go without saying, but please don't try anything like this with real sharp knives. Had these knives been sharp, we would have both been dead more than once. In terms of self-defense, there's several things I did here which would be ill-advised. First of all, this was sparring, so we kept engaging one another. Had this been a real-life self-defense scenario, the focus would have been on creating an opening and then escaping as soon as possible. Now, you'll notice I focus a lot on low kicks. This is a great strategy against a knife as long as you're not yet in close quarters. It's a way of maintaining distance, and also if one of the kicks hits properly and you injure your opponent, that will be your opening to escape. Now, unlike my opponent, I try to keep my empty hand out of the fight. Also, I lead with my right foot as I carry the blade in my right hand. However, at one point I spin and switch hands, which was just to try it out on a resisting opponent. I do not encourage these kind of flashy moves in a real situation, as it's the sort of thing which could get you killed if it doesn't work. Another thing I do is switch between the hammer grip and the ice pick grip. Now, the hammer grip with the knife extended adds a little bit to your reach. It's also better for cuts. The ice pick grip, however, is better for stabbing, which can be potentially more lethal. However, you also need to move in a bit closer, which is a little more risky. At one point I use a high kick just to test it out. However, I recommend sticking to low kicks, especially in a self-defense situation against a knife where you especially don't want to go to the ground. I once read an article about a Taekwondo master using his high kick to disarm a knife attacker. His foot got cut, but he managed to survive the attack. However, just because something has and can work doesn't mean that it's always a good idea to try out, especially if you're not an absolute master in Taekwondo. Now let's watch the full fight, and afterwards Massimiliano will share some points on what he did.
Fight!
Okay, so I just got to try knife sparring for the first time against someone trained in knife techniques, Massimiliano. Maybe you can explain some of what you did against me in the sparring footage.
Yes. So, an important thing when fighting with knife is that you must use your whole body, the distance, and both hands. Because hands move during fighting, and you can use this not to block but to control the distance when you go against your opponent, okay? And use both arms. You have the armed one that can hit and the other one that can control. But in a fighting situation, this is not a static situation. When he moves to cut me, I have to move my body. So the distance that my arm keeps from my body and his weapon is the thing that saves me, because I can use my body to push away my opponent. Okay.
Yeah, excellent stuff, and thanks for the experience, Massimiliano.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
No, not yet. Not until me and Harvey get the rules straightened out.
Rules? In a knife fight? No rules.
Well, if there ain't gonna be any rules, let's get the fight started. Someone count 1, 2, 3, go.
1, 2, 3, go.